to the Last Lap Live. I've changed seats tonight. I haven't been here for a couple weeks. These guys have taken over the show for me, and apparently tonight I am the guest, so I will let them open the show. So you guys are on.
We're on.
We're on.
Well, Brian, we're on. You went down
This
south.
is it. See what happens when I leave? The show must have been terrible the last 2 weeks.
Takes a little getting used to sit over here. You went down south this weekend.
I did. We were thinking about going to Attica this past week, and the guy that helps me, Lee Decker, wanted to go do something different, and the weather was going to be beautiful. They had a 2-day Ohio Valley Sprint Car Show down at Midway Speedway, which I'd never been to, and Skyline Speedway on Saturday, which I enjoy racing at. So we decided to go down there and do that.
You know, I'm giggling inside because he got caught with group qualifying.
Oh, man. Let me tell you about this.
I seen it.
Jerry Perrine runs those two tracks down there. Billy Jarrell owns them both, but Jerry Perrine owns them.
Billy owns Midway?
Billy owns both of them.
Oh, I knew he owned Skyline. I didn't think he owned Midway.
And Jerry Perrine runs both of them. So, first off, I had to work late a couple nights during the week to leave on time to get down there. And we got out of here late. I left at 1 o'clock, and I'm thinking, I hate getting to a new racetrack late. So I call the number on the website, and it comes up Jerry Perrine. So apparently I had already called him at some time in the past. But I said, what time's the gates open, and what time's the driver's meeting? And he says, yeah, we'll probably open the gates around 5:30, and
Sometime.
driver's meeting will be at 7:30. I'm like, probably be around 5:30? Okay. So now I'm looking at the clock, and I'm going 80 miles an hour down to Columbus trying to get there, and I'm like, man, we got time. So anytime you go down to Southern Ohio, have you taken your race cars down there?
It's been a long time. We went to Skyline. I think Michael and I went to Skyline.
Long time ago.
Yeah, this is probably 2007-ish.
Okay. Well, everything down in Southern Ohio runs
Pretty
slowly.
laid back.
Maybe laid back, mellow. So we got there at 5 o'clock. We even took a detour and everything. We got there at 5 o'clock. And they opened the gates at 5:30 and kind of, milled around and checked out the racetrack. And driver's meeting was at 7:30. And I said, how's the qualifying work? This is late. I assumed that it was single car. Last time I was down there, it was single car. And so I didn't think anything of it. So I go up to Billy Jarrell and I said, how's this work? We qualifying first. And he says, you'll go out 4 cars at a time. You qualify when you hot lap. Huh.
This the poster boy for
Crap.
group qualifying.
Keep in mind, the last time you qualified at Attica was single car too.
It was.
Yeah, I
Things
know.
change. It's part of the new era. And
Yeah, and it was, I enjoyed racing with them guys. Like I said, it is laid back. All the guys down there, they all know each other. They all talk to each other. It's not the same atmosphere as up here, in some respects, because it's just so intense up here, and down there there's not nearly the intensity. But the group qualifying deal was Saturday. I got passed by Danny Smith, and I had to apologize to Danny Smith for being in the way when he was qualifying. I thought I'd never have to do that in my life. And I mean, you qualify for the heat races, and they line them up heads up. So you just go out in the set that you drew in, and then the fastest guy starts on the pole the first heat, the second fastest guy starts on the pole the second heat. And the only difference is that made it halfway livable was that wherever you finish in the heat is where you start the feature. You start on the pole the first heat and you win it, you start on the pole the feature. But like on Friday night, I started 4th in the heat and finished in the third heat and finished 2nd. So I moved up a few spots, and then the same thing on Saturday. I started 6th in the heat because it was terrible qualifying. But I ended up starting 9th in the feature because I moved up a few spots in the heat. So
well, I think overall the group qualifying deal, Attica's done it a lot more than we have, but it's worked out much better than most people expected. There hasn't been the carnage and all that kind of stuff. I think it's gone smooth. I don't know that people like it per se, but I think it's gone smoother than most people expected it.
Yeah, my main problem is I got in the way of Danny Smith. That might have been his best lap, and I got in the way. And he should have been mad at me. He wasn't, because if you know Danny Smith, he's like, nah, I'm good.
It's all cool.
He just kicks back,
he says
another cigarette.
Yeah, he says, you showed me the bottom. That's all right. Okay. It didn't make it any better, but
You wouldn't give that at Fremont.
no. And I wouldn't have given it if somebody would have got, if I'd have passed them, I'd have been mad.
Yeah.
So Friday night it's kind of neat though that I don't know if you've ever been to Midway, but it's everything down there at the racetracks is from the 50s. The fence is from the 50s. The grandstands are from the 50s. Just, they just gotten older. But it had small grandstands that went down that filled up quite a bit, and then it had this huge hill that went up with like levels in it, and they
Kind of
had
like
campers.
Hilltop. Hilltop's got like steps built in the side of the bank, inside of the front.
Oh, this
straightaway.
isn't for seats.
Oh, this is for vehicles.
This is for vehicles. Yeah, there's a campground that
Oh,
goes
that's
way up 1,000 feet. I don't know how
I
high it
gotcha.
is, but it goes way up, and then there's like 3 rows of campers that were up there, and they had their fires burning at night and everything. It was a really neat
Yeah.
backdrop. The racetrack was glass smooth. It was perfect, really racy, and same thing at Skyline. Obviously, that place is always
That place is always smooth.
super smooth. Yeah,
And usually it's really slick and
it was fast.
super
though.
smooth, or every
Yeah.
now and then it gets rubber down. But I've never been there where the racetrack's been rough. It's always been pretty smooth.
Yeah, I was there one time a few years back. We went down to race at West Virginia Motor Speedway on a Saturday, and I stopped there on a Friday just on the way to watch the races, and it had rained like 20 minutes before the races were to start. They got started late, but that clay was just wicked fast, 9-second laps, just insane. But that Nathan Skaggs down there runs a red 2 car. I don't know if he's been up here or not, but he was crazy fast on Friday and won, and I think Cole Duncan was second. Ryan Broughton was 5th, I think. I don't know, somewhere in his top 5. We were 4th. I don't remember who was 3rd. Oh, Danny Smith was 3rd. That's
Danny
what it was.
Smith.
Yeah.
Say he was probably in there somewhere.
Yep. And then Saturday night at Skyline, Danny was really good on the top, and I think Nathan Skaggs was 2nd. Jimmy Stinson was 3rd. That Ryan Broughton was 4th, and I ended up 5th. So, but it was a good weekend. We had a blast. Got home at 4:30 in the morning yesterday, or Sunday, and slept till 9:30. Got up and still made it to church. So, worked out good.
That's always good. And then you mentioned that your daughter was the reserve champion at the fair.
Yeah, I don't understand all that. I'm just learning. But my oldest daughter was in showmanship. Something
Shelley knows a lot more about showmanship and horses and cows and
basically
fair showings than I do.
I explained it to somebody this way: she won the heat race. There was a class that she was in of 2 years and under showing, and she won that. And then there was a class of 2 years and over showing, and somebody finished 1st and 2nd. There was a bunch in that. So they took the top 2 out of each. That was the
They
heats.
made a dash.
And then, well, that was right to the feature. Yeah,
Yeah.
it went right to the feature. They put them in for the championship round, and she ended up 2nd.
And
in
that's
that deal.
that's good. I mean, because
Yeah. Well, I asked some horse people there. I said,
Yeah.
she got reserve champion in something. Is that good? And they're like, yeah, it's real good. She got a trophy about that
yeah,
big. So
it's really good.
yeah, that was
like
pretty
we were
neat.
talking earlier. It's for both of your girls. It's a great experience for them. It'll teach
Yep.
them all kinds of.
My middle daughter, Kendra, is she's got a pony, and she's not as smooth as my oldest daughter, and the horse is not as smooth, but she still won a 3rd place ribbon in one of her divisions today, or one of her classes today. So
And to her, it's a ribbon. I mean,
yeah, right.
It,
Yeah.
It's got to be big.
Well, she's got an older sister, and Carrie Ann's winning the #1 ribbons here and there, and she's getting 3rd place ribbons. So she wants to be like her older sister, but the horses aren't the same.
Yeah.
The work ethic isn't exactly the same either. But,
We know all about that.
Yeah.
We have work ethics.
I'm sure you do.
We have kids and work ethics.
Lindsay's always been a 4-H or FFA, and it's just so good for them because they have to go on. The girls probably got their chores to do, and
They
have to
do
get
them
up
out
every
there. I wish
morning.
they'd come and muck out their bedroom every once in a while.
I'm
That's
not going to say that Lindsay keeps a clean bedroom too, but I'm not going to say that it always works that way at home. But in the long run, I think it was.
Yeah, no, they're learning. They're learning a bunch of stuff that is going to be good for them in the future for sure. I tell you what I'm learning is that horse shows take forever.
They do.
It's just waiting around. And
I've learned about horse shows over the years at the racetrack because we'll be out there doing grading or wanting to water or something like that, and you try to be respectful and wait
Right.
and this sort of thing. And there's the bad thing with horse people is they don't tend to clean up after their horses.
Yeah.
And, they leave fiber all over. So they've gotten much better at that over
But
the last
on
couple
the
of years.
cool side of that, he's got goats too.
The oldest one has a goat that she's showing at some point.
Is it a big
during
goat
this week.
or like a little goat, like a pygmy goat?
No, it's not a pygmy goat. It's not one of those, not one of them little dinky ones that they kind of poke at your ankles. It's
You
the
can
bigger goat.
you can race those like dogs.
I'm
My
sure you
dad
could.
actually, when his dog passed away, he got a goat, and the goat honestly didn't last long because it had some you know, they burn off his horns, and
Yeah.
when he would get frustrated, he would tend to rub stickers off the race car, or they had
And
to
you want one of these.
I do, but it wasn't like a pygmy goat. It was a full size goat. And
Yeah.
you
There
could-
are some big goats there. And
Yeah.
there's some goats that could almost reach the ceiling here. There's some big goats. It's crazy.
You can snort at them, and it tends to make them mad, and they'll get up on their back legs and they'll run at you. But I want one of the baby ones. But I told you earlier.
She doesn't
you had to-
realize that they don't stay
They
big.
do.
Well,
Yeah,
the pygmy
those
goats,
do.
they're
Yeah,
shorter than this table here. So
If they're
They're
like the
smaller-
dogs we have at home, we certainly don't need to go.
They're
You grow 'em
smaller
big, baby.
than our dogs.
Yeah, but we don't need.
I really would like to have one. but
Yeah,
that's a whole nother show.
I don't know. I'm allergic to all that stuff, so I've been there since 7 o'clock this morning. We took the race car over. It's sitting at Scott's Lawn
We've
Care
just
tent.
seen it.
Yeah, we've seen it there. There was some kids checking it out and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. So that's always cool. It's great that you get that out and let people check it out. What's your racing plans for this week?
Well, I got a tweet, a private tweet from Jack Sodeman Monday, and he said call me. So okay, I call him and he, you know, we talked. He asked me if I was racing this weekend. I plan on going to Attica this week. I got to make money, business decision. I'm going to take advantage of the Renegades going one place and the All Stars going the other. I'm going to go to Attica. And he said, well, I was wondering if you'd want to drive mine Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'm like, I can change my mind pretty easy. I'm the owner. I can do whatever I want. So I said, what are you thinking? He said, well, I don't want to just throw you in the car, you know, not comfortable yet, right with the All-Stars at Mercer. So we'll run Lernerville on Friday, get comfortable and get used to it and everything, and then we'll go run Saturday and Sunday with the All-Stars.
Yeah, I think Lernerville's points are over with too. I think they
It's
just.
championship night.
I thought they.
Carl Bowser clinched, I think, last week.
Yeah, say there's some.
But-
They announced their champions. So.
Yeah, but I think that their championship night is actually
Yeah,
Friday night.
yeah, that would be right because it's the same as Attica and Wayne County both have
Their
championship.
points,
Their
yeah.
points championship nights are this week as well. So that's yeah, there's a lot of racing going on this weekend for sure.
yeah. So that's
So
you know,
you're
that's
going
one of
All-Star
the
racing.
yeah.
And
Apparently
that's
we
a good
are.
race car. I mean,
It is a good
Jack has been one of the top guys in Western Pennsylvania since Ed Lynch stopped being the top guy,
Yeah.
and he's still good.
Yeah. How's his leg? He's coming along, healing up, getting better.
He said he's not doing too much. I didn't talk to him a whole lot because it was on my lunch break, and I had a lot of stuff to make this happen. The fair's going on this week, so my
Yeah.
girls are there all week. They got stuff going on Saturday. I was gonna try and get to some of their stuff on Saturday morning before we headed out to Attica, and I got one vacation day left, and I got to leave early on Friday in order to get down there in enough time to put my seat in and stuff. So I said, is that all right if I get a hold of my wife and call you back this afternoon? He says, yeah, if you don't drive, it's just going to sit there. I'm like, okay, that's good. And you know, I got off the phone.
Because in those deals, you never know why you're calling your
right,
wife.
exactly.
They might call somebody else
Exactly.
just because you're taking too long.
So and
Yeah, you don't want to show hesitation in getting somebody's racing.
no, I know it.
I've
but
I've been the owner in that situation, and you definitely don't want to be like, well.
That's when you
Right.
almost make a bunch of noise. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of like,
hey,
I know.
connection, I'll call you right back.
Yeah.
Then call your wife and then call him back.
well, and I got the girls were at the fair, and you know, I want to be there for the girls, obviously. So I got off the phone. And I got to make this decision. I got to make this happen in a way that everybody's going to be happy. And I'm about to puke. I mean, I cannot pass up getting in Jack Sodeman's race car. Obviously, I cannot miss my girls at the fair doing their first fair with the 4-H deal. You know, I can't do that. So I sent Kim a text and I said, you know, Jack Sodeman called me. That was it. Oh yeah. And I said, yeah, he wants me to run his car.
That's
Oh,
kind of
yeah?
like I blew up the house in one of those.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same thing. You got to ease into something like this because
Yeah.
this is bad, you know, or this could potentially be bad. So anyway, she knows too. I've been doing this long enough. We've been together. We've been married 20 years here in October. So she knows I can't pass this up. She knows how the deal works. You can't pass up getting in a good race car like that. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna get a hold of Jack, and then I'm gonna have to make this work.
I wonder
So-
if Jack listens to the Last Lap show,
I don't know. He's gonna hear all this, when I see him on
or if he
Friday.
listens to the Buckeye Speed Zone, because last Thursday on the Buckeye Speed Zone we was talking about drivers and this and that, and I told Brian and Scott on there that you were probably the most underrated driver in the pit area. That, you know, given the right opportunity. And
We've had this conversation several times
yeah,
this summer.
and you know, given the right opportunity, we mentioned that thought you could do quite well with it, and then all of a sudden this deal come up. I was like, oh, I wonder if that guy listens to the show. I thought maybe I helped you
Maybe.
somehow.
Well, thanks. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
the kind
Thanks,
words. on
Ryan,
that.
too. It was his show.
So I'm going to ask you here live on the last lap. Can I drive your late model?
You can try it out. Absolutely.
I didn't say try it out.
Well, not regularly drive it.
Oh,
no.
jeez. Well, I asked. At
It's
least
creepy.
I tried. Yeah, I know.
I
got
don't
you.
really have a driver in mind for that.
Yeah, I know. I do want to try. I do want to make
Other
some
than
laps.
other than I don't know if I can not be fat. That's
See,
my
this
goal.
this whole story you just told about wanting to call Kim and make sure that it worked and everything. I got the call that he was going to put this crate late model together as a show car or a exhibition.
Is it
car.
not showing right now?
Now you
Man, that thing
also
is
should
looking
know
good.
better.
I do.
You've been
and,
on
and
long enough to
I
know better.
usually just say whatever, whatever. But it's a cool little machine.
Yeah,
He
it's
makes
neat.
fun of me because he claims he's a race fan, and I am a sprint car fan. I like wing sprint cars.
She likes wing sprint cars.
I am not a huge fan of fender cars.
or
I can't-
non-wing cars.
I don't mind the non-wing cars.
You're not a fan though.
I am
You're
a
not
fan.
a huge fan.
I may not like have my pom-poms out and all that stuff, but I like.
She likes
I'm not a
open
big
mufflered
fan of-
410 sprint cars. Is what she
So
likes.
this is how laid back the last lap live is,
Yeah.
and this is what we went for at the beginning. Why the couch was here. Basically, I'm sitting here on the couch listening to these two at their own house bicker about
We bicker
sprint
about
cars
it all the time.
and late models and racing. So this is working out well.
Myself,
This is really
I feel that I'm a race fan. I like race cars. I like the competition of race cars,
Sure.
the side-by-side racing of race cars, and the mechanicalness of a race car.
But did you grow up in a racing family?
No.
Okay, she grew up in a winged, mostly, right?
Yeah.
Did he start in non-wing stuff? He did?
I think.
But he
that
was
dad
kind of
would-
came on as the
yeah.
wing stuff. So she grew up in that. So there was them stupid fender cars are spinning out all the time. If she'd have grown up in a late model family, they'd have been them stupid cars can't even start themselves kind of thing. So you got to kind of
And
give her
to
a little
me,
break
like,
there.
and I tell him this all the time. I can just walk in a room, or I'm using room because of the Hall of Fame, but I don't think there's anything cooler or anything. You just can't beat a wing sprint car. I think they are the coolest little machines around. I love them.
And the
I
late
love
models are the
hearing
coolest
them.
big
I love
machines
smelling
around.
them.
Well,
It's big.
a sprint car as a whole is probably the most purest race car there is, as
Right.
far as
I agree.
just being a pure mechanical machine race car. They're probably the most pure, especially without the wing. They're definitely the most pure race car and takes the most pure talent.
And I
But-
kind of go back to the Fender car. We go back to the compact class, and anybody that knows him and I, as him and I, we don't agree on a lot. There's not a lot, especially race-wise. There's not a lot. I'm extremely stubborn. I know what I like. He's extremely stubborn. He knows what he likes. So this,
I agree with that.
what
Both
was
you
that?
two are stubborn.
Yeah, that compact class comes up, and it just got to the point where I'm like, I'm not even talking to you about it.
Now our producer,
I'm not
Mr.
talking about
Pocock,
it.
is a feature winner in the compact class.
And that's what got him his job.
And
And
I apologize.
that's what got him involved
hated
at the
it.
racetrack. He now has a dirt truck. He would like to have a crate
He's
car,
trying to prove his point.
and there is some good that has come out of that. I agree, the class wasn't the greatest.
Yeah.
It didn't work, and it's not there no more.
So
But
here I see this. Here we're gonna go back to a fourth division, another fourth division that has fenders on it. So that's what I'm seeing in my mind. Another fender.
would you like it better if we took fenders off?
No, because then you'd have modifieds.
It might
Yeah.
look weird,
Oh,
but we
God.
can try
Which
it.
which I've learned now. They don't call them. I didn't realize this because we don't see them that often. But they don't call them E-mods or IMCA mods. They're just mods now. Because
Depending on where you're at and
Lingos
that
change.
kind of thing. If you get out like towards Sharon and Mercer and those kind of places, modifieds are a whole different animal than what they are at Lima.
well, they have big block modifieds out there
And
too.
they have small block, big block, sport modifieds, which are they have some crate car modifieds now. But those cars are, they're straight axle fronts, center drive cockpit.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like they got working arms and stops and coil.
like a
I
big
mean,
block mod. That's what.
Yeah, they're kind of like almost inbred between a late model and a sprint car to a certain degree.
See, I'm just hearing fender. And all
They don't
that.
Well, they've only got
That's all I-
they've only got 2 fenders, so you
Yeah.
halfway like them. But they got a modified class down there. They have mods, which are the ones that are all over the place.
Yeah.
And then they have a new class that they started at those 2 places. That's move mods. I don't know what the move stands for, but they
Get out of
run.
the way or they run you over.
Yeah, well, they
Got
run.
fender,
I think they run 2-barrel carburetors, and they've got some kind of maybe a compression rule or something. But the guy that owns the place, his son drives them. He's got I think $2,100 in his motor, and he won the feature at Midway. I don't remember how many they had, but the kid's 11 years old.
Well, it's like the Bubba that owns Ocala, or was it? Yeah, Ocala.
Bubba Raceway
Bubba,
Park.
right.
Yeah,
Raceway
yeah.
Park.
yeah, his kid's really young.
His kid is 13, 14 years old, got a crate late model, and he's winning races.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's just it was just insane to me. When I started racing, I was 12 years old, and we didn't tell anybody we was 12 years old. I had a little peach buzz right there, so I got away with it.
Cowboy hat.
But no, I didn't have a
Did I
have
just
a hat
see a
then.
picture of you with the cowboy hat?
Well, it wasn't really a cowboy hat. It
it's
was
more like a Jan Alpin
Straw
style.
hat.
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't even that big. It was kind of small, and it was really dorky looking. But I wore it all the time.
You were really cool in it back then, though.
No, I was not. Cool.
I think that
I've never been cool.
I wish, in hindsight, we should have got some pictures and put on the show today. There was one on the internet the other day with your father at the Skunk Hollow banquet. That was priceless.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
that's the one I'm talking. Did he have a hat
It
on?
looked like a
Well,
golf
that was
hat
a
or
clown hat.
something, yeah.
It was about this big.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There's a backstory behind that. I don't know if you know Denny Cook, but Denny Cook's a buddy of Bobby Davis's, who owns the Caleb Griffiths car. But that year, I think it was 1990. We had a contest every week at the racetrack. We ran on Sundays. My dad owned the track, and every Sunday we would try and outdo each other with hats. That's how I ended up wearing that goofy cowboy-looking hat. But we would try and outdo each other. So at the banquet, I said, "There's no way he's going to beat me." They interviewed me. I finished third in points or whatever, and I put on that stupid polka dot cowboy hat, and I'm pointing him out, and he's in the back, and there's probably 200 people there, and he goes, "Hold on." And he runs out to the truck, and he comes back in with the exact same shaped hat, just with different polka dots on it. The whole place was roaring. It was hilarious.
So it was a
good
tie.
time. Yeah, it was a tie. We still ended up in a tie. But hey, I tell you what, I'm not running this show, but do you have any commercials you can run?
Yeah.
Because I'd like to stop for just a minute, take a break, and then we'll come back with me.
Need some cash? The Hillside Pawn Shop, 503 West State Street in downtown Fremont can help. The Hillside Pawn Shop buys, sells, or trades gold, silver, coins, guns, toys, jewelry, and much, much more. Turn your old treasures into cash now. The Hillside Pawn Shop is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. Call 419-307-8768. That's 419-307-8768. Hillside Pawn Shop in Fremont. Buy, sell, trade. Pawnbroker license PV.100620.000.
Taco Bell's XXL steak nachos are not a big meal for 6'10" NBA star Kevin Love. Even with 3 times the steak, they do not overwhelm Kevin Love.
Okay.
Nor do the XXL steak nachos intimidate Kevin Love.
That dude's huge.
But you are not Kevin Love. Taco Bell's XXL steak nachos. A regular-sized meal for Kevin Love. A XXL-sized meal for you.
Kick-It's coming up.
Welcome back, everybody. We're back with Brian Smith, our guest host.
There you go. I
Our
kind of
host
like the
guest.
fact that I sat up here I followed Dale Blaney. I think that means I run second, right?
You did.
Kind of did run second.
Everybody-
You'd be definitely, if they don't want to call it running second, we can definitely call it runner-up.
Okay. How about reserve champion?
Reserve champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be the reserve
Is the
champion.
last lap
Right.
reserve champion.
That'd be all right. I think next week I'm going to be sitting back over in that seat, so
I'm thinking.
we'll get back to normal. Maybe we'll talk to Brian Lay next week. And
Yeah.
Our point leader at Fremont Speedway, and see how he's doing. He had a
Speaking of points, the fast championship points will end up at our next event at Fremont there, and
Gosh, it
there's
don't
a-
even seem like that should be.
yeah, it's a tight battle for the 410s with with 2 guys, and then the 305s is actually a between first and fourth is only 12 points.
Wow.
Fourth place is
Impressive.
12 points out of the lead, and the 5th place guy mathematically is possible. It's not quite possible.
Well, the way the
The
points
numbers
are now,
could happen, but it'd be a fluke.
But you changed the point system this year.
No, point system. Our 410s, our weekly point system is slightly changed, but the fast points are
Oh, okay.
The way they
fastest
have-
for the top 4 guys is the
the
fastest.
top 4 is for the
Okay.
fast guys. Yeah,
Okay.
and then 2 guys for the track. So it's kind of cool. We're working on some stuff to make it unique and different than what it's been in the last few years with that deal. So that'll be kind of fun.
I do like the deal that you changed the point system for the regular weekly deal, where you're giving points for qualifying and for the heat races and stuff, and it gives you a chance to make moves now, where before, we talked about before, where if you were 30 points out, it was over. I mean, you weren't going to catch somebody.
Yeah.
And now, like I think last week, or last time we raced, I made up 20 points on Travis Philo.
Yeah.
and passed him because he had trouble. But you can make that move now where before you wouldn't have a chance.
Yeah, and I think our point steal right now, if I'm not mistaken, between first and second is 23 points, if I'm not mistaken, in the 410 deal. So it's
We're all looking to
definitely.
Steven for support, and he's just
Yeah, I was
back
looking.
at
I was
us
looking
like,
at
"What?"
Steven. He takes care of the website and updates that stuff. So it is. It's mathematically possible. It could happen. And Brian Lay is our current points leader. And if he is able to win it, he'll be like one of 25 guys that have ever won a points title in the 410 sprint car division at Fremont. So that's a pretty impressive feat if it's possible. But he's got Byron on his tail, and it's a lot less points. It's only 8. So it's 8 points to second, which is
I can't read it.
when you
Long
got
way.
that's a little bit of pressure. Byron's he's
Yeah.
Mr. Consistency when it comes to
Kind of came down to that with Byron
points
last year.
racing and that kind of thing. So
There you go. Now you can't see this, but this is good stuff. We got a monitor over here,
I still
and he
can't
just
see.
he just made it bigger so that we can read
Yeah.
that. So it's 8 points back to Byron, and then Chris Andrews is back 43, and Caleb's 51. So
yeah, let's scroll that down a little bit, would you? It was our 305 class. In our 305 sprint car class,
Wow.
8 out of the top 10 in the points have won at least one feature. So that shows the parity and the competition level in that 305 class. It's a pretty cool deal, and nobody's won more than 3 in the season. And so when you look at that, that's pretty nice. It kind of goes back to 2007-8 era when the one year we had 15 races and 15 winners. So that was it's pretty nice to see that many guys getting the opportunity to win. And there's been other winners that are outside of the top 10, but 8 of the top 10 have all won feature events. So that's pretty nice for those guys.
I'm
Yeah.
still looking for a truck too. We got the Powder Puff Derby coming up. I see Matt Luce's name over. That's the one I can read.
She is soliciting for a dirt
I
truck
am, but
powder puff
I
ride,
don't
but
want a shifter truck.
she wants an automatic. In other
Yes,
words,
I
they
do.
have automatic trucks. They race
Yes.
in automatic.
there's a
There's
few.
a
We're gonna
couple.
get a hold of Kurt Inks.
I
Kurt
just-
Inks let her ride his the last time, and it did get wadded up, but
Did.
we do pay for 100% of the damages
Kurt
when that
Inks got
happens.
upside down this year, didn't he?
Yeah, he's back racing, and his dad's been back at the racetrack. His dad broke his pelvis, and he got in the front straightaway wall and ended up taking the trip to the hospital. And then later that night, Kurt got upside down,
Yeah.
and he tore his up pretty good. And they had
Almost as good as I did.
they just had a really bad night at the racetrack, and but they've been back, and Roger's not racing right now, but Kurt is, and so we're glad to have them back for sure. And everybody that got transported at our last event, Brad Keckler and Sabito, those guys are all well and good, and everything's good there. So it's always a plus when nobody gets injured.
The Brad Keckler deal. I saw some pictures of that. That was a pretty rough deal, but. When we got home, I was looking on Facebook and sending people messages and stuff, trying to find out how them two guys were, because Brad's a friend of mine and Brian Speedo's a good friend of mine. And I saw a picture of Brad Keckler, and he's like this
Yeah.
on Facebook, telling people how he is. So
Yeah.
I've seen
he must
that.
have been doing all
When
right.
they was hauling him out, I said, "You good?" I said, "You all right, buddy?" He says, "I just want a cigarette."
yeah.
He just was ready. I've crashed both of the sprint cars and dirt trucks, and that dirt truck will hurt you.
Yeah.
Those things they're heavy, and when they hit pretty hard.
And
So.
one thing that everybody wanted to know with Sabito was, did they cut that banana suit off of him? And they didn't cut it, so that was good.
Yeah.
He must have been all right. They didn't have to cut his uniform.
They don't want to ruin that uniform because he can wear it and it'd be like like you say, it's a banana suit and he's around for a few.
Yeah.
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 Oh.
But we're heading into the fun part of the fun part of our season. We get the World of Outlaw Show, the Jim Ford Classic, the Powder Puff Derby, Kick It. We got a lot of big things
There's
coming up.
the rest of the year there's not a regular night left. You got
So-
Fast Championship night, 2 days with the All Stars and the Jim Ford Classic. You got bands both nights. The Kick It game during the day on Saturday.
Queen's Contest. Auction.
I'm sure we're gonna put some surprises into the Jim Ford deal like we do every year. We'll mix it up, make it something different. Not sure yet. Haven't really thought of it much. And then we have our weekly Fremont Speedway Track Championship coming up, and that's the 410s this year is $5,000 to win. So that's a pretty.
How's that paid down, anyway?
I haven't worked it all back yet. Typically, this is the first year we've changed it. So before it was a 410 feature is what it always was.
Okay.
So we,
I always
we need to
finish
work
8th or
on that.
9th, so it's always the same for me. I was
Yeah,
just
well,
curious.
10th is 410.
Yeah.
Just mainly because we race 410 sprint cars, but we're going to work on that a little bit. We'll see how things. It really depends on how the season ends up. You know, we got a lot of big races coming up. We got a lot of financial risk on those big races, and you know, kind of depends on how all that goes, on what we can afford to do, and you know, we don't do it for a living, so we.
What's the deal on the September 6th when we come back? It's Champions Night?
Yeah, that is Salute Our Champions Night, where we're bringing back all the track champions from every division, as many of them as that are able to come.
I've had a
And,
hard time grasping that concept because
It's just kind of, you know, honoring, you know, we do a lot of honoring our history at Fremont,
Right,
because we're pretty
definitely.
proud of it, and that's just a way to bring them guys back to the racetrack, get them out there, let everybody, you know, have some autograph sessions with them, and do like a driver introduction with them and that kind of thing, and just a way to honor those guys that's paved the way for everybody else today.
That's cool. I like that kind of stuff. Fortunately, I'm a past champion, but I'm hoping that I get a chance to, you know, if you're going to line us up on a front straightaway or something, get a
that's some
picture.
cool stuff.
Yeah,
I'd
we're
love
working
to-
on some different things there we want it to be, you know, everything we try to do, we do it for entertainment. You know, we want those people that come and buy a ticket to be entertained, and so we're working on some stuff to where we can bring all that together and make it entertaining.
Bobby Sears won the 79 Sports Stock Championship.
Correct.
And I'm hoping to get a picture on the front straightaway with him again, because we did 10 years ago was when we won the championship in the 305. So I'd like to get a picture with him since he was a champion too.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a neat deal. It'd be a good opportunity.
Yeah, it'll be a fun night, I think.
Yeah, and
Like
Bobby,
Olivia.
you know, and Bobby Sears won a track championship as a car owner with Bobby Davis,
Oh yeah, the trucks.
and with you, and his own championship. So, you know, Bobby Sears has
I don't know if I want to stand next to Bobby Davis, but
it'd be good for entertainment.
yeah, I agree with that.
The story would be awesome, but
No, actually,
Yeah.
I got some tires from Bobby before we went down south because I needed some 15s to run down there. But
Yeah.
Anyway,
But those guys, you know, it's good for all of them guys. They get a chance to come back. They get a chance to, you know, we had the Legends race, but that's a different deal. This is more for everyone. It's not just for the
Right.
guys that want to drive and that kind of thing. So it's just, like I say, it's something part of our history, and try to keep it, make it something special.
good deal.
I think it's time that we have a ball with Art, with the guy that created the deal. I think
Well,
that would be.
I'll tell you what. To be fair, I did not create this deal. This was a bad Christmas party game where I work, but we were looking for something that we could use as a gimmick on this show.
But you
and-
brought it to the show.
And the
He
thought
did.
of having Mark Keegan and Jim Linder and now Dale Blaney and all those guys that did such a good job on it, Art Ball drawn on their head, it was just too good a deal to pass up. So,
Well, we're running out of notebook paper.
They
well, we're
suck.
running out of
Yeah.
guests if you got me on. So,
We're going to. No, you had a good weekend. You went out and you traveled. You did a little something different. You got a nice ride in a quality race car with Jack Soderman. That's
just give me the picture.
it's well deserved.
It is.
And you just draw the picture on your head, and we'll go back to the county fair. And you know, we hope everybody can come out and support the fair. The fair and the fair board on the county fair. Those
Obviously,
guys.
Brian has been because he smells like a goat sitting
Yeah.
over here. He tells me.
Those guys, they do a lot for the racetrack and a lot for the community, and we don't always see 100% eye to eye, but they really do enough to make it. And without those guys, we wouldn't have a place to race. So
You haven't practiced.
come out and enjoy the fair.
For the record, I didn't know I was going to be a guest until today because we were just gonna get through this, but
Well, we've
so
been
I didn't
off
do any
so long.
practicing. But I did hit that pretty good on the wing anyway. If you can tell that that's the wing. But-
definitely it's a wing.
so.
As you
something.
get closer.
Yeah,
That's close enough.
That's close
See
enough.
it?
It's got 2 tires, a tank, and a wing with a number on it. So let me autograph that so that we can
Absolutely.
put that out there with all the other ones. And
Yeah, we got to make it. We got to put it in. You got to blend in or something. It's definitely not the worst one.
I actually have.
Not
all
the
those-
best.
all
Chris
those-
Andrews, I think, has still got the best
I
one.
think so too.
And I would have never thought of him as artfully talented in any way.
oh, geez, I didn't expect
got
that.
frames to put them in. I just had to find a minute or 10 minutes. It's been so busy. We're just busy.
Well, guys, that'll wrap up the show this week. Next week we'll come back. We'll have Brian Lay, and we'll probably make an attempt to get Mr. Reed on the show next week and talk about the points battle that's brewing, and see if we can finish the show up or finish the season up, however you want to look at it.
And I have to get my shout out there for my 2015 Speedway Queen. We're still taking applications for those through September 1st.
Yeah, I saw a giant picture of Maria
Well, you
there
should-
outside the Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
so she's famous now.
I hate getting rid of Maria.
Through
She's
September
been-
the 1st or the
September.
next race, our September 6th race.
Well, the deadline we have on printed on them was September 1st. Maria's been a really good representative.
She's done a really good
She
job.
has.
It's that deal there has worked out really well the last couple of years, and
We did have a kind of a disagreement. I know it's really surprising about the new crown. I had to send one back because
for those that understand measurements, that can
I don't.
understand what 2 feet is,
I have no clue.
or if you can't understand what 2 feet is, take 2 of your shoes off and stack them together, and you'll get remotely close.
That's about
Now,
what the crown
Brian
is.
here has a
Part
tape
right there.
measure.
It's
That way,
there.
now if you stand that up,
All joking
stand that up
aside.
vertically
Sure.
on top of your head,
Okay, on top of my head.
because
I
that
can't.
exactly.
It's not quite. It
That-
wasn't quite that.
That
big.
was about how tall this trophy
was
was going to
18
be.
inches.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
She said
18 inches.
18 inches. Let's get it
inches.
right to scale.
And when
Yeah,
I-
that's considerably different right
Well,
That
but
is
you gotta
the-
put it
that
down
is the
this
height.
way. It's gonna come down.
It's-
Yeah.
You're not going to fix it.
I literally was embarrassed.
We're still
when
this
I
high.
opened it, I didn't want to touch it.
And-
I was like, oh my
And it
gosh!
probably weighed. This thing probably weighed a helmet and a half.
So was this for the Pope instead?
Oh my gosh!
This was.
I
This
ordered
thing
it.
was
I
special.
read 18 inches, and I'm like, yeah,
Wow.
that'll be good.
Yeah, I think we just need to get a tape measure and sit by the computer when she's ordering stuff. So
And
she
I
can,
opened up the box
Just
and,
look at the
and it
numbers.
was laying there, and I thought, oh my gosh, he is going to die when he sees it. So I
I
put
about
it back
died
in.
when I seen the last one.
I put it in the box, and I thought, oh my, I'm just not going to tell him. And then he's like, what is that? And I'm like, yeah, that's it.
I
It's a
think
pretty
we
big
should
box too. It's kind of hard to hard
It did.
Maybe you
came
can
in-
give it to Maria on the way out, and then she can wear it.
Yeah,
whenever she wants to.
he actually put it all the way over his head and sat it on his shoulders,
Still
and it
stood-
still stood up about the stuff.
Yeah,
So,
it was.
Ah,
She was a little over the top.
but I've got 10 little girls.
really? That's
run-
good.
Yeah, it's
That's good.
We have 10 little girls running for the
Little
Little Miss Speedway,
Fremont
Right.
Speedway. Yeah.
and we got I think 4 or so.
She gonna give away the bike and that kind of stuff?
Well, those people that their families, we've put it out to them that they would be more involved in the bigger events, in the All-Star shows and those type of shows, the All-Stars, the Outlaws, that kind of stuff. When those guys come to town, that'll be more of the fit with where we use more people and do more special things and that kind of stuff. It's it's a lot of commitment out of one queen, let alone when you do it with a little one, then you're committing at least another parent.
And
You're-
Maria has not missed one event. She has made it to every
Well, except for today. Wasn't she supposed to be the face of the fair, and it ended up being you?
She actually I was the face of Rich Farmer today.
Yeah, she filled in for me this morning.
Oh, okay.
Maria, there was
That's
a
improvement.
royalty dinner tonight that she couldn't make, but other than that, she has not missed a beat.
It's been
That's
nice
good.
to have somebody that can fill in for me now and then.
Yeah, good. I've had somebody filling in for me here now
Yeah.
and then too. That's worked
And,
out.
and nobody
All
threw
right, I guess.
anything at me or anything when
Yeah.
I went out. Nobody booed or.
That's good.
No.
That's great.
Wait till next week.
Yeah.
There's always somebody.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and end this show. Thanks for watching me and my co-hosts here. It's been a good time, and we will see you next Tuesday night.